In our previous videos on CSS, we covered inline styles, just like we did here on this H2, as well as internal styles, which are styles specific to a single HTML document. Now, what happens if we need to style all of our documents within a page so that all of our H2s look the same? Right now, using only an internal style sheet as well as an inline style, we've got a mess. Number one, our internal styles are specific to this one page, but they do not reach over to our About Us page. Also, our inline style messes up everything because it has a highly specific style that applies only to this first H2 tag. So let's fix that in this video using what is known as an external style sheet. An external style sheet is an improvement upon style or style attribute specific styles and internal styles. And we're going to do that by adding to our project a style sheet. Now, to do this, you can name a style sheet whatever you want. There are a couple of patterns that you can use or defaults that people like to use. You can use main.css. You can use default.css. You could even use index.css, although that kind of implies that this CSS belongs only to the index.html page. So let's just go ahead and do main.css. Now we've got ourselves a style sheet called main.css, and that is really where we want to have this style because we want it to apply across the entire website and not just our index.html. So let's wipe out this H2, let's cut it, and let's put that inside of our main.css. Let's get rid of this internal style because we really want to keep structure inside of our HTML documents and keep the look and feel outside. What this is called separation of concerns. And separation of concerns in software development is extremely important because by separating concerns, we can make our code easier to maintain as well as make it more readable. If we have a single HTML document and yet we add styles inside of this head tag that are hundreds or 300 lines long, it's going to make our HTML documents extremely long, extremely hard to read, and of course our styles will apply only to that single page. So my preference as a web developer is to never ever use styles or internal styles in the head tag, and also to never use inline styles in my HTML documents. I like to keep my HTML strictly structural. It defines the structure of the HTML document and the page, and I leave look and feel to a CSS that is external or an external CSS sheet. All right, so we've gotten rid of our internal style, we've gotten rid of our inline style. If we go back to our web page and we look at it, it's going to go back to being bland, just like our About Us. So let's move on to our main.css. Now, I added color and background color to our main CSS, and I'm using the exact same rule that we used in our internal style sheet when it was in the index, but we are not seeing anything happen inside of our index or About Us. The reason for that is that although style sheets can be global to an entire website, they still have to be imported into our HTML documents so that the browser knows which style sheets we are using for which documents. This also allows us to have more than one style sheet that handles different concerns as it applies to our HTML documents, such as we could have a style sheet that focuses just on fonts. We could have a style sheet that focuses just on the look and feel. We could have one that just focuses on color. We could have one that focuses on positioning or where elements in our document appear when they're rendered in the browser. Some people get that specific and some people just have one CSS. It's up to your preference and how you feel having more than one CSS might help make your site easier to maintain and easier to read when you're programming in it. To accomplish this, we are simply going to add a link. This is the HTML attribute that we use in order to pull in style sheets into our page. The relationship for the document to this document is that it is a style sheet. And then the type we have is going to be text/CSS. And then we need to link it to the actual document. So we're going to use an href just like we do in an anchor tag. And we are going to point it to main.css and then go ahead and close that tag. Now, when we go back to our website, we should see that it is all styled. So we're on our index.html, getting started, production deploys, and deploy previews all have the style as expected. If we go to About Us, though, these two do not have that style. So what we need to do is we need to do the exact same thing we did in the index.html, simply by copying our link, going to our About page, going back up to the head tag, making sure that we add the new CSS into the head tag, come back, and now all of our H2s have been styled properly. Really ugly style, but really we're just here to learn. We'll worry about making it pretty when we get deeper into style sheets. This is just so we could see instantly that changes have been made to it. Yeah, I feel kind of bad about the look and feel. It's really ugly right now. All right, so that would be our external style sheets. So now we can simply add more CSS rules to this, as well as update and modify the attributes or the properties, these CSS properties, in order to change the look and feel of this. So being that I really don't like that gray background, I'm going to remove the gray background. I'm going to come back and see. Now, our getting started on those two H2s, so the H2s are now looking good. And that dark slate gray, it's not too bad. We'll come up with something better as we get deeper into CSS. Hopefully that helps you understand external CSS style sheets. So as a review, in order to make sure that we can put our styles generically across all pages in our website, we simply create a new CSS page. We move all of our generic styles into that CSS document, and then we make sure we link to that CSS document using the link tag and pointing to our CSS document wherever it is inside of the structure of our HTML website. Once we've done that, we should be able to edit and update the main.css or whatever it is you called it. You should instantly be able to apply changes to your website.